Hey, man, thank you guys for watching the content, watching all of the interviews. Make sure you like, subscribe, and also leave a comment, man. Vibing with Veto. Just take 1 second out your day and leave a comment, like, or subscribe. Let's get back to the interview. Okay, we live in the crib, Vibing with Veto. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on the YouTube at Vibing with Veto. Also follow us on the Instagram at Vibing with Veto. You already know the slogan, we vibrating higher. And today, I have somebody special in the hot seat with me. Introduce yourself to the people.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tieara Leeann. I am a mental health therapist, author, actress, and show host. And I'm just here to bring love and motivation to the room.
That's what's up. That's what's up. 2025 is now here. You know, how has your year been on day, what were we, day 12?
Day 12. I've been so busy this month already, this whole year.
Thanks.
I just feel like God is just making a way for me. Like he is just got me going. Like the motion is just motion.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
They always say like when you start the new year, you have the 21-day fast and stuff like that where you give up some stuff to receive things. Was any preparation on that like going into this year for you, or did you just come into the year kind of like, you know what? Whatever comes, I'm just going to go with the flow? Or did you have like a concrete plan on what you want to accomplish this year?
I definitely came in with a strategic plan.
For sure.
I feel like at the end of the year, kind of like towards October, fourth quarter, I definitely was leaning more into what am I about to do in 2025. So I started living for 2025 in October.
Dang.
And one of my biggest things was just staying faithful to God and actually paying my tithes. Like that's been my biggest thing. Sowing the seeds, just seeing them grow and blossom.
Absolutely.
So that's just it.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah, I don't have no special diet or nothing like that, though.
Yeah, I'm trying my hardest to give up cursing. Like, cause my whole thing is, for 21 days, I ain't saying I'm forever, but it's like my thing is I come from a family like Louisiana. We just literally just blurt out whatever. So
Louisiana, y'all got potty mouths. My God.
So I'm trying to like hone in on that and like stick to it. And it's crazy because 12 days in, it's like you kind of forget that.
Have you been cursing?
I've been saying the S word.
Y'all getting on my freaking nerves. I haven't
said the F word all year.
Okay, good.
That's crazy, right?
Have you been saying the B word?
Nah, I don't say that. I don't say that anyway. My brothers and sisters, they like kind of like talk like that, you know what I mean? But like I moved away anyway, like you know what I mean? So I didn't adapt that. But I don't really use that word.
What's your favorite cuss word?
I be saying like the F word,
and
I be saying like the S word, and you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So it's just like now it's
not
like
too bad.
It ain't too bad, but like when you say it in like every sentence, like
but you working on your vocabulary.
Yeah,
that's
facts.
You stepping your vocabulary
Absolutely. I got $1 million question for you. I asked everybody that comes on the show that sits on the seat with me, I asked them the same question, so I have the honor to ask you now. How big would you dream if you knew you couldn't fail?
I always say I have a mind that for some reason I feel like I want trillions of dollars. Like I feel like a lot of people talk about millions, they talk about billions, but nobody never think on the level of like I could be a trillionaire. Mm-hmm. I can be making millions of dollars per day.
Right.
Type stuff.
Is that you caught yourself?
Yeah.
Is that something that you strive to do, or are you just saying if you couldn't fail, that's where you would want to be?
If I couldn't fail, that would be one thing that I would want to be. I would want to be one of the first female trillionaires.
That's crazy.
That's big though. You said big.
Yeah,
now,
right,
they don't get no bigger than that.
Can you really like? All right, let's take a pause right quick. Think about how much money that is.
I know, right?
Trillions of
dollars.
Think about how much money. Like, okay, that's crazy. Like
assets as well. You know what I'm saying? Like assets. You know, when you talk about money, it could be anything. It could be just my business, my companies. You know, just some of the things that I own accumulated to $1 trillion.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, and also what I'll be giving back.
Right. That's the big part too, because it's like you can have it all, but like what is having it all without sharing it with people?
Exactly.
You know, like so. That's kind of how I look at it. Like even like with this platform, I kind of like me and Nico, we created this platform just off of a thought.
Yeah.
and a trying time too as well at the same time. Like I got into a bad car accident, so I didn't know what I was going to do career wise, or like, you know, where I was going to shift because I couldn't drive, so I couldn't do what I normally wanted to do. And now that I have a platform that's growing, I try to extend the hand, like my hand out, and reach out to pull people up, like whether they have a business, whether they are artists, entrepreneurs, whatever they're doing. If I can help, I try to do that. You know what I'm saying? So going back to what you were saying, having trillions of dollars, like, bro, that's an insane amount of money.
I know, right? But I feel like God will give that to me because I'm such a caring person. I like to share. I like to serve people.
Absolutely.
So it's like somebody got to be in control of that.
Yeah,
like,
right. Facts.
I don't mind taking care of my family, taking care of families, and you know, just doing what's right for the world and the community.
Facts. So we'll stay right there too as well, because you're telling the people a little bit about yourself. You're on Vibin with Veto. Explain your vibe to the people. Like what's your vibe?
My vibe is, I always say, sexy and sophisticated.
Okay.
You know, like I'm such a lady at the end of the day. Like I enjoy being a woman, so I lead with that first. A lot of people lead with what they do, but I feel like it's important to lead with who you are as a person. And I know we're on this whole like femininity train and all that, but I feel like I've always lived with it. I've always made sure that I carried myself as a woman, as a lady. And second of all, as a businesswoman, you know, I am a mental health therapist, so I learn and I lead a lot with human behavior. Like I've always been into psychology. Why do people do the things they do? Why do they say the things they say? Like why am I like this? Like, you know, so that's a little bit about some of the things that I'm interested in. I'm also like, my vibe is just, I'm a vibe though. Like,
okay, for sure.
Like, I'm just an all around vibe. Like, I'm a cool person. I'm down to earth. I'm from up north. I grew up as an only child, so I mean, I always had it my way. So I grew up with a little finesse. You know?
Right. That's what's up.
A little finesse mixed with blessed.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
I'm gonna do the right
finesse
thing.
And blessed. That's awesome.
But at the same time, I'm gonna make sure that whatever I want, I'm gonna have to get it.
Facts.
I'm gonna go get it. I'm just that type of person. And I mean, I like hanging out. I like chilling with my friends. I love spending time with my family. I love nature. I love going out and being a part of the world and just, you know, getting some fresh air. Because I just can't. I'm not the type of person that can just sit up in the house all the time.
So these 2 days, these snow days, you wasn't in the house?
No, I
watched so many movies.
No, yesterday I was like, I gotta get out. So I went downstairs to this breakfast place in like where I live at. Yeah. And I was like, just even if I just get out for a second, like that's how antsy I am.
Yeah,
like,
facts.
I can sit in the house a little bit, but after a few days, I'm like, I gotta go somewhere.
So COVID, the
world need me.
How were you during COVID, if that's the case?
I had COVID.
Oh, you had COVID?
Yes, I freaking had COVID, and I feel like that scared me because I thought that a lot of people in the world that had COVID, I thought that like we're gonna die. But once I really did my research and I actually like kind of picked up on my own symptoms, I was like, yeah, this is just a virus. This is something.
Yeah, something. Yeah,
it's like a cold.
Yeah, facts.
Like I basically just had a cold for a week.
Facts.
And I don't even think it lasts. Like I think they said it was last like 14 days.
Well, it was like 7 days, I think, 7 to 14 days.
But yeah, I end up writing a book though during COVID.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about your books and all your accolades too. We'll start with mental health because you brought that up too as well, right? What inspired you to dedicate your life and career surrounding mental health advocacy? I
think because like I said, I lead with wellness. I lead with being in tune and in touch with who I am as a person. And I feel like just my energy alone, it allows people to see that it's okay to take care of your mental health. Like always be in tune to who you are and don't let nothing affect you. Like I've always been a calm person, easygoing, not letting too much, you know, get to me. And I think once I kind of figured that people pick up on that and it's something that a lot of people need help with, I was like, why not take advantage of this and actually make it a whole brand?
Yeah, absolutely.
So outside of the things that I do, the other things that I do, mental health is like my career. You know,
absolutely.
The day job.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when I first moved to Atlanta, I was a case manager. So I always been working with people. Like I said, I always served people in some kind of way. But when I was working with them and I was going to the like family's house, getting them, like we would help them with food stamps, furniture, housing, and things like that. So as I was going to the house, I was originally working with the kids, but through me working with the kids, the parents gravitated towards me. And like I started doing therapy with them. Like they start calling me, we was talking and stuff. And they will always be like, "This is Miss Smith, my therapist." I'm like, "I'm not no therapist. I'm case manager." So they really inspired me.
Wow.
I don't know if they know it or not, but they really inspired me because I was like, let me just be a therapist then, get my money's worth.
Yeah, facts.
These people really think I'm a therapist.
Right.
Yeah.
Facts. Have you gone through like any trying times in your life where you felt like, okay, it's important for me also to focus on my mental health, or again, helping other people, that was kind of like a reflection of what you can see, envision yourself doing?
No. Like when I look back on my life, I really did not have like a rough life or no big traumatic experiences. However, I had an uncle that was like, he had some mental illness, and me, my grandma, and like my cousins and stuff, we would go to the psych ward to see him and stuff. So like he struggled a lot, but this is my favorite uncle. He's gone now, God rest his soul. But it just helped me understand, because it's like out of everybody in my family, I was the one. Like I will always talk. I never treated him no different. Like even though he had his own mental struggles and he was on, drugs and stuff, I always treated him like a human being, a regular person.
As you should. So
I feel like that kind of like sparked it, like the therapist in me, or sparked like the understanding person in me. And from there, I feel like that really, it molded my character a little bit, just by having him a part of my life and just showing me that everybody is not, on track mentally, and that's okay. Sometimes you have to be there for people and not judge them, support them and accept them for who they are.
Absolutely.
Because mental struggles and substance abuse, all that stuff, like we all have people in our family like that.
Absolutely.
Like who are we to not accept them or to judge them? Like we all have things that we done been through. So he played a big part in that, like a huge part.
Facts. I feel like a lot of men also struggle with expressing themselves to people, especially like therapists. I don't know why, but I used to be like that too as well. Why do you feel like men's mental health in particular is often like overlooked, and how do you address this through like your work?
Yeah. I think that it's overlooked because a lot of times men are not as prone to talk about their issues as like women. And I think that it just has been embedded in y'all since childhood. Facts. To not cry and to hold your head up. Like, why you been a wussy or sissy? Like y'all are taught that crying and expressing your emotions and stuff like that is a weakness.
Right.
So I think after so long, it just has been a thing that y'all are just like walking through life like everything is okay when really it's not.
Right.
So I think it's important, and I think that a lot of men are starting to see the benefits of like therapy and the benefits of taking care of their mental and not just focusing on like finances or fitness and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
facts.
Yep. I think it's just the world and society and how y'all have been molded.
Yeah, I feel like because you mentioned like fitness too as well. I feel like that's an escape that a lot of men kind of like run to.
Yeah.
I mean, although you're getting your body right, like the biggest engine like that kind of like controls everything is your mind and your heart. So it's like, in a sense, you can have all the other components. You can have a million muscles. You can be the buffest person on the planet, but mentally, if you're not there, like it's like kind of like a crash and burn situation.
It don't make sense.
After a while, you probably start seeing like a little bit of crash and burn. Can you share or define can you share a defining moment in your career that solidified your passion for promoting mental wellness? I know you said like the kids as well, but
kids, working with the kids most definitely, and just seeing the impact that I have made on children. Like I've not only worked as a case manager, but you got to understand, like I work in Metro Atlanta, like Cleveland Avenue.
Facts.
If you know.
Right.
Where else? Like Tara Boulevard. Like I was literally put in a position to where I had to like drive to the client's house. Like I literally they gave me a caseload of people, and I'm not even knowing, I'm just walking into it. And I'm going in these neighborhoods, mind you, I'm from Ohio, so I'm not knowing, like I'm in the trenches for real.
Yeah, facts.
Going to people's house, and like I was just so, I wasn't naive, but I guess I was just optimistic, and I looked at it like as a positive. I never looked at it like, oh, I'm scared. So I think my clients kind of picked up on that. And over the years, like even once I quit, they still was calling me like, Miss Smith, like you just don't know how much of an inspiration you was to us. Like you always been a positive role model. And one time, this is when I knew, like this is when I really, really knew. One time, like I had this girl, she had 2 kids or whatever. Like we still cool still to this day. I'm not gonna say her name.
It's all good. It's all good.
Privacy purposes, but
it's all good.
We still cool still to this day. I was her case manager, so I used to help her with like her Social Security, food stamps, and all that. Like doing whatever we got to do. You hear me, to get this lady
Facts.
what she needs to take care of her babies. And we would just be talking and stuff. Like I said, this is when before I was a therapist, I was a case manager. So I used to just, pull up, help her out and stuff. So like 3 years later, this is when I stopped doing the case management with her. I was in her neighborhood one day, and I had stopped over her house. She ended up getting her an Audi. Like I had an Audi at the time. She was like, yeah, I had to get me a car just like you. Like when you showed me that, she was like, when you showed me that it's possible, like you just showed me that, as black women, we can have certain things. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, when I met her, she didn't have no car. She didn't even know how to drive.
That's crazy.
And the fact that when I pulled back up on her years later, she had the same car as me, and she was just like, you inspired me to get this car. She was like, when I seen you pull up in that car, like I knew I had to have it. And
that's crazy.
I was like, dang. To me, it kind of went over my head when she was telling me, but then like, you know how you think about something a few days later, I was like, I really made an impact. Like that's impact right there.
Facts. Do you feel like and congrats on that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Like being that light in this world. I feel like we need a lot more women like you too as well. Do you feel like you're doing God's work?
For sure. Definitely, because I feel like as therapists, we don't get paid enough. Like only if you make your own prices. And I mean, it took me some time to get to that point, but I feel like the things that we are teaching people and the things that we're going through with our clients, it's like life changing. Like
absolutely,
it's no money in the world can benefit or take place into what we're doing and what we're really teaching people. Like there is no price on that. It's priceless. Like that's like reading a book. You can read a book and the things that you learned out that book, you're going to take with you throughout your whole life.
Dang.
So I think that's a major key. And I'm glad that I'm able to do it, and it helps me realize my purpose in life. And just with me, like, getting in tuned and getting more closer to God, I realized that's one of my purpose in life, for me to be able to be a light, for me to be able to show people what's possible if you put your mind to it. And if you can't put your mind to it, some of the things that you have to do to get your mind in that space to even want to dream big or want to do certain things, you gotta have resilience. You gotta overcome the darkness. Every day is not gonna be a sunny day. Sometimes the sun won't shine and it'll get dark, but you gotta know how to get through it. And I feel like like I said, I never really went through a lot in life, and maybe God made that possible for me. For you. Yeah, he made that path for me, so I'll be able to show people and how to navigate through life without feeling like, any pressure.
That's crazy. I mean, that's beautiful. Yeah. That's beautiful. Let's talk about like education and like the professional insight of you. How has your background in social work and psychology shaped your approach to the mental health therapy? Like, you know what I mean?
That's crazy, because people never even talk about social work. Like, social workers can be therapists. First of all, social workers can do a lot of things, and a lot of people don't know that. They go to school for social work and they just be like, okay, I can't find a job or I can't do this. Social workers can do a lot. Like, we could do case management. Like I said before, we could do therapy, we could do nonprofit work, we could do charity work. It's limitless. We could work in hospitals, help people get resources. It's God's work. Like that's really a God purpose and field. But yeah, me being a social worker helped me as a therapist, because not only was I able to service my clients through giving them therapy, but I was able to meet them where they were at and be able to provide them with resources. Because a lot of times, like I said, when I was working in Metro Atlanta, people didn't need therapy. They looking at me like, girl, I'm hungry.
Yeah,
like,
facts.
You talking about this and that. Like, I'm sitting here, I don't have no food, I don't have no clothes. So I've always, even still to this day, like I'm that therapist. Like I'm taking my clients food, church's chicken, KFC, anything they want.
You ain't bring up here.
Listen, I will. I like to do that. But I mean, like even my little kids, like the girls I see, they like to do hair and nails and stuff. Like I'm taking them wigs, all types of stuff. Like they ain't never been no therapist like me. I'm in the hood, literally giving them my old clothes. Like next time I see them, they sharp, baby. They got the outfits on. I'm like, y'all just do not understand. So it's a beautiful thing to be able to not only give people what they need on a mental level, but also be able to give them what they need on an economic level. So when you think of social work, you think of social justice, social policies and stuff like that. So it gets deep. Like I even get into politics. Like it's a lot of things that I pay attention to. I pay attention to the laws. I pay attention to, what's going on in the world. Like why are we not receiving certain benefits? Healthcare. Like I'm always the friend, like when it's time to update your healthcare, I'm sending my friends like, you need to get some insurance. Facts. Like I'm on it. But that's the social worker in me, because I've always been a person to seek out resources. Facts. I'm very resourceful.
Facts.
And that goes with me being a social butterfly, me being able to be on podcasts, me being able to network, knowing a lot of people in the industry, just floating around.
Yeah, like, facts. Like a chameleon, floating. Like you know how to be.
I just be floating around. Yeah, that's so dope. Then if we do be able to reach that level where you say, okay, hey, I need to talk to somebody, then we could talk. But I feel like me being able to relate to the people and me being able to touch them through different ways outside of mental health, it helps. Because like I said, sometimes people don't need somebody to talk to. They might need some resources. They might need some money. They might need some clothes. They may need some food stamps. You get what I'm saying? Like you got to think about that too. And I feel like a lot of people, that's why they overlook therapists and going to therapy, because they like, I ain't trying to do that right now. Like, I got a lot going on. But you bump into me, I'm going to be like, oh, well, they got a USDA program, first homeowner program. Like,
dang,
but then later on, we can talk about your issues. But I'm going to still be here to aid you and give you the things that you need, and also advocate. Like, that's another part of social work, being able to be an advocate for people who can't talk. So that goes back to my uncle, like he didn't have a voice. So I started off as a young advocate in my family for my uncle. Like, y'all gotta understand, like he got these issues going on and like you just have to understand. So like I've always been an advocate, I guess.
Facts. Nah,
day one.
Facts. So you said Ohio, right?
Yep, Dayton, Ohio.
Okay, you moved here 21?
I moved here, when I was 21.
Okay. So how was that, like the transition from there to Atlanta? Was it like kind of like a life-changing kind of thing too?
It's like how people move from Africa to here to America.
Right.
It's like moving from Africa to America, for real. Like, this is the Black Hollywood, and I moved here because my mom moved here first. Like, my mom, when I was younger, she would always say, like, I want to move to Atlanta. I want to move. But we never moved. She waited till I got all the way to college, and she moved while I was still in Ohio. And I was like, dang, I want to come. So my mom was calling me, like, you need to get here. It's a lot of opportunities. What are you doing with yourself? I'm 21 years old. You outside. You don't really have it all figured out yet.
Right.
So I was just like, forget it. I packed all my stuff up. I drove here from Toledo. Like, I'm from Dayton, but I was going to school in Toledo. I drove here, and the thing about it, I end up like making it happen so quick. Like, the first week I moved here, I landed a job. matter of fact, I got transferred. I was working at Red Lobster, so I was like, okay, I was just putting it together. Like, I'm about to just go work at Red Lobster until I can find me a job, because I had just graduated. That's when, like, I moved in June. In November, I ended up getting that case management job I was telling you about when I was working with the kids. Like, it's been up from there, and nothing but great things has happened. Like, I wanted to originally be a model when I came. I was like, I'm gonna be a model. I'm gonna just be a bottle girl and all this stuff. But one thing led to another. Even though I did try the modeling thing and I really loved it, it just the money wasn't promising enough for me. Facts. And I felt like I had so much more in me. Like, I literally had just got my degree. Like, what are you doing out here modeling for $100 and all that? Like, girl, really go get you a career, because you don't have to do this. You know, I was doing it on the side, but I really had to really be career focused, because I saw so many Black people doing amazing things. Like, this is home of the Black excellence. Like, I never seen that. Like, back home where I'm from, people are not as driven, you know? It's like crabs in a bucket. People are not willing
to help you or extend. No,
they're not willing to
help
you. They're not as, like, you gotta understand, we from a small city, so it's not like how it is in Atlanta. People that grew up in Atlanta, where you seeing Ludacris, you seeing like the T.I.s and the Sierras. You can see them as they have grown in this industry. Like, you literally have access to them. You could touch these people. You could walk up, take pictures, and do all that. Like, it's not like that.
I mean, y'all had a little Bow Wow.
Well, no, because he moved
to Atlanta.
So we didn't really have that. And the people, the celebrities that's from Ohio, it's like they moved and they never even came back. Just now figuring out they from Ohio. I'm like, like Cat Williams from Dayton, Ohio. I never knew that.
I didn't know Cat Williams from Ohio.
Yes, never knew. Dang. So that go to show, when people move, they getting up out of there. Like, because it's not a place where you can really be optimistic. It's not a place where you can really think outside the box. You definitely in the box when you're in Ohio. And I love my city to death, but I feel like it wasn't a space for me. I felt like a shark in a fish tank.
Okay. I get what you're saying.
I always knew, like, I had dreams and stuff like that, but it's hard to have dreams because it's so, like, it's people around you that's negative. It's people around you that they don't think that it's possible. So they can't speak to life and give you what you might need to get to the next level. And when I moved to Atlanta, it's like I instantly started gravitating towards people like that was just so helpful and resourceful to me. And it just, I mean, instantly, like, Veto, I'm not like the same week, like, instantly, like, it was on and popping.
That's
like,
dope.
From the moment I stepped foot up in the egg, baby, I was not playing.
You feel like you should have moved here, like, earlier?
Ooh, I wish I would have moved here when I was, like, when my mom first said it, because she was saying it forever. And it's so funny because you can manifest your life. Like, even though my mom said it when I was like 12 and we ain't moved till I was 21, but it happened. But if I would have probably moved when I was like 12, 13, then things probably would have been a lot better. But I'm glad that I stayed in my city because it molded me. Because you know, it's not many people that can say that they moved from a smaller city and being able to work their way up to the top and really build a brand, and people really know who you are from what you do, or, you know, just by who you are as a person.
Yeah, facts.
Like, it's not possible. So I was able to really touch the people who I need to touch in my hometown, you know, show them that it's possible, and just keep moving.
That's dope. That's dope. As someone who empowers others to embrace their strengths, how do you personally prioritize your own mental health and wellness?
I prioritize it by, I spend a lot of time meditating. So in the mornings, I have to be by myself. I don't answer my phone until like 10 a.m.
Right.
Wake up early morning, make sure I pray, make sure I meditate, think about the things that I want to do. Like, my life is just so premeditated daily. You know what I'm saying? Like, I go day by day. When I pray for things, I pray for that day, that particular day. And I think a lot of people, they lose sight on the moment because they're not in the moment, because they're thinking so much about the future. And some people thinking so much about the past. But I feel like when you start paying attention to what you could do today, a lot of change, like a lot. Your life will change for the better, because it's not about yesterday and it's definitely not about tomorrow. It's about today, because that's all we got.
That's all
you
we
can
got.
walk outside right now and drop dead. So at the end of the day, what matters the most to me, and I feel like what helps me, is me living day by day. Like they say, even with AAA, when you dealing with substance abuse, they always say one day at a time. So that's my secret. I take it one day at a time. I pray, I exercise, I move my body, dance, spend time with my family, things like that make me feel good, and not get so caught up in the unofficial things that really don't matter. Like a lot of people get caught up in their career, they get caught up in just things that really don't matter. And I think when you get caught up in that kind of builds up the anxiety. It makes you anxious, and I don't like that energy. I don't like when I get anxious. Like I don't. So I try to stay away from that. I try to do things that I know that will keep my mind on track and keep my mind kind of settled. And things that keep my mind settled is working out, spending time with my family, dodging the negativity, not answering my phone for the people that I feel like that's going to mess up my day. Yeah, because a lot of times you never know. It's some people in your life that you can't help that they're in your life, but they're there. But you definitely can have those boundaries. So that's another thing that I do. I set boundaries.
Facts. Let's talk about your book, Understanding Anger. Talk to us about the book. Like, how did it come about? What made you want to write a book? What do you hope the readers take away from the book? Let's talk about that.
Okay, so I wrote the book one time. I was mad. I was getting into it with my ex-boyfriend, and we was arguing, and I could just feel my blood boiling. Like I could feel me. I don't know. It was just like I was having a freaking stroke. Like I was yelling at the top of my lungs. And, with me being a mental health therapist, you get access to different courses and classes and stuff. So I had took advantage of anger management. It was like a certificate. Basically you are certified. Like you become a certified anger management specialist, so you could teach other people anger management. But I had to refer that particular day. I had to refer back to my notes because my anger wasn't in check. So I noticed that week when you arguing with your partner, like it can mess up not just your day, your whole week. My week was thrown off, and I was just like, dang, like let me figure out some things, because I don't like the way that I'm getting upset, like I'm yelling and stuff. Like what I had to think about, like where am I going when when I start arguing? Like where am I going when I'm yelling? So I kind of like evaluated myself, and I used the tools that I knew, and I was reading all the stuff that I learned, and this was during COVID. Once I got to reading it, I was writing notes, and by the end of the chapters, I had so many notes, like it was like a book. So I was like, you know what, this is a book, I'm about to publish this. So I end up just writing I wrote the book out of anger.
That's dope.
It's crazy.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So like takeaways, what do you want like the readers to take away from the book, or acknowledge, or like some tools that's in the book that you potentially, because I haven't read the book yet. Just explain like what you want the readers to kind of take away from it.
So the book is about how to navigate through anger, understanding that anger is okay, because there's no way to escape anger. We all will get angry at some point of our life, but it's not about it's not about how you feel, it's about what you do during that moment. So you want to take control over your anger and not allow your anger to take control of you. So a lot of the chapters is about mastering peace. When you have inner peace, I feel like it's not as easy for a person to take you there, for a person to really get you out of character, or for a person to really shift your perspective or your values. So some of the chapters I talk about mastering peace. Some of the chapters I break down anger. What is anger? How do you know that you're an angry person? Some people need to know that. They may not know that they have some struggles when it comes to anger management. My favorite chapter, I talked about childhood trauma and how that can lead to having anger issues.
Absolutely.
A lot of times people may have issues with their childhood, and that trauma comes out during times where they may feel angry or they may feel triggered. So that's another thing. I talk a lot about triggers, how to identify them, how to identify the people that trigger you. And I feel like if you're around a person that triggers you, you should learn how to deal with them, like not deal with them in a way that's unhealthy, but deal with them in a way that's healthy, and confront some of the issues without getting physical, without getting violent, without name calling and all that. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's a short book. It's not like a huge book with all these chapters. It's 14 chapters, I believe, and I feel like it gets straight to the point.
Facts.
And it can help a person that may struggle a little bit with identifying their triggers and not knowing how to master peace.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have an audiobook too?
Well, it's on Amazon, so I have an ebook audio and the actual
perfect. I'm gonna make sure I get it. I know you said you were gonna give me one, but I'm gonna make sure I support too as well. Okay. You know what I mean? You also have a show, Minding My Mental.
Yes.
Can we talk about that too as well? And what the show is about and different things of that nature.
Okay. I'm so excited about this freaking show. So the show will be with 3 other therapists along with myself. What we will be doing basically is giving our professional perspective and bringing people on to tell their story. So it's kind of like a modern day Mari.
That's
how
dope.
They brought people on to talk about their issues. So we will be giving our perspective not only as therapists, but we all have like these unique personalities.
Yeah,
so
facts.
We're able to not only give our perspective, but be able to relate to the people who we'll be bringing on the show. Like we'll have kids, we'll have adults, we'll have, just different people from different walks of life. Mm-hmm. And I'm just excited about that because I feel like that's what the world is missing.
Facts.
Like I used to love watching the Mari show. Yeah. Seeing people come out and
imagine if it get wild though. Like what y'all go? Oh, so y'all want?
That would be great. If it gets a little wild because that's the entertaining part about it, and I feel like that's what the world is missing, and that's how like mental health is being overlooked because it's not this drama or this. It's not a cool thing to do. It's not a cool position to be in because so many people look at therapists as if we're these conservative people, right. But it's like no, we all come from different backgrounds, right. And it's just so funny because we just, like I said, we all have our unique personalities, and I feel like if people was to bring the drama and we're there to be able to help them navigate through it, it's going to be a learning experience and also some entertainment as well.
Right.
So actually, I'm not against the drama. Like bring the drama on because I know like the world that we living in, people do not want to.
They like that too. They don't want to hear
us talk about therapy and how we just we're this therapist and we're life is great. Of course, we know how to get through a hard time.
Right.
Like, but we want people to come on there and really show their true colors and show what they have been through, and we will be there to be able to help them get through whatever they got going on.
Man, you said one word when we were just before we talked about the show, you were talking about anxiety and stuff like that and how you don't like being in that state. Yes. It's different forms of anxiety too as well. It's like multiple forms, and I didn't know. I'm just thinking like, okay, anxiety is just like when you're just like, scared or like your heart's beating fast, but they got all types of anxiety, even performance anxiety, like from a sex standpoint, like they have all types of anxiety. Like, so when you were becoming like a therapist and stuff like that, did you have to study like every, like, I guess, component of like the mind, like from anger, anxiety, different things like that? Like, what are some of the steps, like, you know what I mean?
So it's this book that all therapists, anybody in the mental health field, it's a DSM-5. So this is a book full of diagnosis, and it's over thousands of diagnoses that a person can have, like disorders, mental disorders. So anxiety is so many different forms of it. You can have general anxiety. You can have social anxiety where people cannot, be around a lot of people or large crowds. It makes them feel uncomfortable. It makes them worry about their image or how they're, talking and walking. So, that book alone has taught me a lot, not only about people, but about myself. And I feel like if you read that book, you will see that we all have some kind of mental disorder. You know, like anything could be considered a mental disorder.
Right. Where do you think that stems from though? Like, because even when you said like social anxiety and stuff like that, where do you think it stems from? Do you feel like as a child that person may have been around a group of people who probably treated them a certain type of way, or or it could just be anything.
It could be your childhood, or you know, the environment that you grew up in that could kind of be the reason why you adopted this complex about yourself. You know, like if you were in a household where you grew up with all sisters and you're the only boy, and every time you cried, your mom told you to stop crying. So now when you get around people, you don't want to cry. You don't want to make it seem like you are soft or you're weak. So now you're going around with this syndrome, like some people call it little man syndrome or whatever, and feeling like you have to be bossy, you have to be in control, you have to be this aggressor. So I feel like complexes can come from, it can steal from any environment that you have put yourself in, but I feel like the anxiety comes from worrying about what people might think about it, or worrying that you may be doing something wrong or you're not behaving a certain way.
How do you stop worrying? You know, like that's my question, because it's like even I, like, you know what I mean, I have a lot of things that I have done in my life that I can pat myself on the back for, like, dang, you did that.
Yeah.
One of my problems is like I'm always searching for the next thing to the point where like it's just like, okay, I just did some incredible thing today, and it's like, all right, what's next? Yeah. And then it's just like I don't never give myself props, or I don't never give myself enough time to like marinate on like, hey bro, like you really are doing well in life. I always kind of sometimes think like, bro, nah, I gotta keep on going, like whatever, bro, I gotta do, like, you know what I mean?
That's, a lot of men are like
but
that.
I don't know why it's like that though. Like last year, because okay, so yesterday I was talking to my cousin, and he was like, bro, what are some of the highlights you had of last year? And I had a whole lot of stuff I could tell him, but then I don't ever tell myself that. Like, I ran the Peachtree Road Race, bro. Like, I literally ran, like...
The marathon?
Yes, I only trained for 2 days. Like, I didn't...
you ran it?
Yeah, I didn't... It wasn't like... It was something I was like, okay, it cost this. Okay.
That's life-changing.
I paid for it, and then I was just like, all right. I just got on the treadmill for like 2 days, and then I just ran it.
Okay, so it seems to me like you're never satisfied with your accomplishments.
Correct.
Okay, so you're always on to the next accomplishment because that's what makes you feel good. What helps with me is when you notice certain things about yourself, and you notice, like, you really, really know that this is something that I have an issue with, obviously. Like, I want to change it. And maybe you don't. But
I do.
What I do with my complex, or, you know, my disorders, mental illness, whatever you want to call it, I always come up with a monthly quote or a monthly mantra. Like, this month, I would say, talk to me nice. Like, I notice sometimes I can be hard on myself. So I have to say, okay, this month is my month of talking to myself nice, being kind to myself, allow myself to celebrate my wins, even if it's small. The smallest win, celebrate that, because it's going to put you in a different outlook. So make sure that no matter what you do, you're still happy with what you're doing and you're comfortable with who you are, because I think that's where the anxiety gets to building up at, because you're not fully comfortable within. And I always ask, like, my clients and stuff, I always ask them, like, how are you internally? Like, how are you with inner peace? Are you at peace with yourself? Because when you're at peace with yourself, you really are comfortable with who you are as a person today. Not saying who you can become in the future or what you need to do. Are you comfortable with who you are right now? If you died today and we wrote up a whole biography about who you are as a person, would you be satisfied with your accomplishments, with your achievements, with your character? Would you be okay with that? And it's like, we don't give ourselves enough grace. You get what I'm saying? You done did more than enough for a person. I mean, they probably run out of paper at your funeral. You know what I'm saying? Like, to write your obituary. Like, they were, like, literally. And it's people like that are overachievers that want it all, and it's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like we really have to slow down and stop and think about the things that we have accomplished and just be proud. Like, take some moment to, like, one of my mentors told me one time, he was like, Tieara, you just never sit and smell the roses. Like, you never stop to smell the roses. And I didn't know what he meant by that. And I think he was saying, like, you're always trying to get to the next thing, go to the next place, do the, like, stop and smell the roses. Like, you never know what may come out of that moment. You may realize that you are enough and you have done enough. And even if you wasn't to do anything further, then everything would still be okay.
Right.
So I think it's all about our comfort within.
Right.
Like, we got to be comfortable with who we are.
You said something too that, and I don't know if you were talking to me. Maybe your spirit was talking to mine. And you were saying, would you be happy with who you are if you passed away today?
Yeah.
I have parts of me that I'm like, yeah, like,
yeah,
you that guy. Then I have parts of me where I'm like, bro, you can turn up a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't really know how to answer that question. I don't know if I would be, if I'm completely like at peace with myself. Because I guess that's a part of me continuing to like, hey, all right, let me keep on moving.
Right. But what if you stop and you start to think about some of the things that you have accomplished and you begin to embrace what you've done so far?
How do I do that?
Just think about it. Like I said, mindfulness. When I say in the morning time I meditate and I'm like really trying to be in the present, that's really what I feel like a lot of people should do. Start paying attention to what are you doing right now, today, what have you accomplished, like, and really, really be able to ground yourself in that. Like, affirmations is a good way to remind yourself of who you are. And I feel like just journaling, writing out your accomplishments, seeing them on paper, and you really being able to list them. And when you list them and you see this long list of things that you have accomplished, how couldn't you not feel grateful? How could that not make you feel fulfilled, And I think like people don't do that because it's like, okay, what's next on the list? Let me keep adding to the list. But I feel like if we take time to embrace what's already on the list, maybe parts of us will, be able to create something better. You know what I'm saying? Create something that's more intentional, because a lot of times you could be doing things just off the strength of it. You're not really being intentional about the things that you accomplish. You know what I'm saying? I have a CPR certificate, but I mean, it's a certificate. I wasn't being intentional about that, but maybe if I would have done something else along that line, I would probably feel a little bit better about it because I'm being more intentional.
Thanks.
It's aligning with who I am as a person, not just me just wanting to stroke my ego for the day. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we do stuff just to stroke our ego, just to say we did it. But
Right.
Are you really being intentional? Looking at the list of the things that you already accomplished will help you kind of grasp who you are as a person, because we are what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a reason why you did that. So when you really start to collect those thoughts and be able to really keep count of it, you're able to make your next move your best move. You know what I'm saying? Because you're being intentional. You're not just doing it just to say you did it.
Facts.
You're doing it because that's who you are.
That's dope.
On purpose.
Facts.
And purpose is everything.
That brings me to my next question. I have a slogan that I always say: purpose over popularity.
Wow.
When I say that slogan, how can you put that in your own words?
Purpose over popularity?
Yes.
Purpose over popularity. I would say that putting your purpose first and not caring about what others think about your purpose, because we all have our own unique journeys that we're on. Like, no one is going to have the same vision as you. Your vision is designed specifically tailor made for you, and my vision is specifically tailor made for me. And I think a lot of people lose track of it sometimes because they may want to be popular, or they may want to fit in, they want to do the things that other people are doing, but it doesn't fit them. It's not the journey that God has written for you. So you have to put the purpose over the popularity, because if you put the popularity first, then you're getting, kind of, you're getting swayed to the other side of who you are, not the right path of who you are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, this segment of the show is Vibin with Veto shout outs. So you can shout out anybody that you want to shout out on the show. Vibin with Veto shout outs. Let's get it.
This remind me of this radio station back home. I used to call the station. I want to shout out my mama, my cousin, my auntie,
Facts.
my daddy. Listen.
Facts. Is that the list of people we shouting out?
I promise you, yes.
All right, let's go.
I want to shout out my whole family, okay? I want to shout out my mama, my daddy, my whole family. Shout out to God, who is ahead of my life. Shout out to Minding My Mental. I just left an amazing interview with them. Shout out to all my clients out there. Shout out to all the people who watch me. Shout out to the people who give me credit and not try to look at me like I'm being this Hollywood person because I come from a small city. So shout out to the people back home in my city that really see me and see what I'm doing.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Because people can see you, but to understand what you're doing is a whole nother thing.
Facts.
So shout out to those people, and just, shout out to anybody that's out there that's struggling with mental health. I want y'all to know that struggle do not last long, that your situation and circumstances is not permanent. It's temporarily, especially if you never give up.
That was beautiful. Tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on all social media platforms at Tieara Leeann, TIEARALEEANN.
Dope.
You can also find me on Psychology Today, which is a platform for therapists, verified therapists. So if you need a therapist, that's a great platform to use. I'm gonna keep shouting them out because I want to get sponsorship through them. So shout out to Psychology Today.
Shout out to them too.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to vibe with me, for real.
And shout out to you.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to this podcast for having me today, because you could have picked anybody to be on your podcast, and for you to pick me, I feel definitely
I reached out, like, you know what I mean, I wanted you to come on the show, like,
I feel
real
special.
time. And I appreciate you for coming.
Thank you.
For real. This has been a wonderful episode of Vibing with Veto. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on the YouTube. Help us get to like 5K subscribers. I don't even know the count right now. We going up though. And you already know the slogan, we vibrating higher. We gone. Till next time.